Hello everyone, Aaron again. Today I was changing out the barrel on my impact and it hit me that I'm about to change everything in terms of what I know about this gun when I change from a 25 cal down to a 177, especially when you consider the fact that the 177 is going to be shooting a very lighter pellet and that sort of thing. So that's I need to basically, in that particular case, learn this gun all over again. But at the same time that I'm learning this gun all over again in a new caliber, I have to remember what this thing did as a 25. Otherwise, when I go back to a 25, I got to learn all over again. Which brought me to an interesting conclusion. And that is, I need to know, and I already do, what this gun is doing at a certain speed as per my scope and my Mildots. So on the video I did previously, we talked about Mildots, shooting Mildots out to 100 yards. We talked about it a little bit. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. In that scenario, you saw me shooting my impact out to 100 yards. And what we did was we set up targets at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and then we went to 100 from there. We subsequently, at the end of the day, we went ahead and did 80 and 90. And so now I have this card here. And this card will tell you, I'll try to hold it close. I don't know if you can read it because it's going to be so white. But if you take a look at that card, you will see on that card that it has the feet per second I was setting my gun at, which was 868, and then the Mildots that I had for my holdovers at 10 to hold unders and holdovers from 10 to 100 yards. Now, so this gun is done, okay? But what's going to happen now is this gun will no longer be shooting that same pellet, nor will be shooting at that same speed. So what I've done is this. I have this on paper and I also have it saved on my computer. Because on my guns, what I have on the back of a piece of paper, and I won't be able to hold this close enough for you to see the writing on it though, but see this cheek piece here? This is all of my Mildot ranges will be on there. And that is so, oops, drop the thing. That is so, if I'm out there and I range them at a certain distance, I can look down really quickly and say 1 Mildot, bam. Half a Mildot, bam, 2 hold under, bam, and bring the gun right up. And so that's very, very important to be able to have that. Now over time I would learn that and I'll just know, okay, he's 60 yards, that's this. But until I learn my Mildots, having this little cheat sheet is very, very important to me. Let me just say one other thing before I move on, because one of you guys wrote me and asked me, why am I using Mildots? Why don't I use a turret? The turret turn system that's out there now. Let me say this. If you are a hunter that's engaging multiple targets at multiple ranges and you have a turret on your gun, you just made a big mistake. I really do think there are people out there that are pushing turrets now because they're being paid to do it. From a practical standpoint, they make no sense. You know, if you're in Afghanistan and you got to shoot a target at 1.5 miles or whatever, and you got to engage that target, yeah, use a turret because that's one target. Then you might see another one a few minutes later. But when you're out pesting and you got birds all over the place, some sitting at 10 yards, some shoots maybe out to 100 yards and all of that, you don't have time to be turning a turret. And not only that, but you have to take your eye off the target when you're turning that turret, because you got to look and see. And then you take your shot, bam, and oh, there's another bird, and he's only 20 yards away. Here we go again. It makes no sense. So those of you guys that are out there that are going to buy a turret, don't spend all that money on it. You're not going to have time to engage multiple targets with that thing. Now, if you got one target, if you got a whole bunch of targets at one range, and you turn the turret one time, you get off 20 or 30 shots at that range, it's good. But most of the time in hunting scenarios, you don't know what range that thing is going to pop up on. And I'm just going to show you the difference between the two really, really quickly for me. All right. I just ranged him. And he's at 60 yards. Now I got to drop my head down and look at this turret. and then bring it up and put the X on him and make the shot. And then I see another one at another yardage. And I got to turn this thing again because I got to put that X right on him. But if I got a Mildot system, I can range him, boom. Look down, 1 Mildot, pow. Range him, 2 Mildots, pow. Range him, 3 Mildots, pow. I'm going to get off many more shots than you are turning a turret and trying to figure out what that range is. So don't fall for that. If you are a hunter, do not get a turret system. You know, if you're in the business of shooting people in Afghanistan long distance, then a turret's the only way to go. But don't get caught up in that. Mildot is the best system for the type of things that the average person is going to want to do with their gun. Okay, so I just wanted to address that because someone wrote me in my last video and said, why are you using Mildots? That's why we're using Mildots. So that question is answered. Now let me get back to the gun. Okay, so basically, for 25 caliber shooting at 868 feet per second to I think 875, I am set. Okay, now what's going to happen now is this. I've taken off my 25 caliber barrel because we're going pesting tomorrow. This thing is off. And now I got my 177 barrel on here. Okay, all of a sudden that same amount of pressure that was going down there to push that pellet at that 25 grain pellet at 860 will probably be pushing this little tiny pellet, if I get enough air down the tube because it's a lot smaller, at over 1,200 feet per second easily. So now I got to make all these adjustments, and I've already done that. What I've done is this, and I'm going to ask a question here for you guys who are in the know, because I was told one thing when I got this gun, and I just saw something. I just saw Steve doing a video, and he said something totally different. This is what I was told initially, that with this gun you can tune it by turning the hammer power tensioner over here, and also by limiting the travel of that. And that's what I've done here. What I did, I turned this thing to minimum. I even dialed it back a little bit. Got the Allen wrench and dialed it back a little bit to get it on minimum. And then up here, I moved this all the way in so the hammer travel is really short so you get some puff of air through it. Because that's what I was told it was there to do. Now Steve just did a video on the FX Impact X barrel. He says that this thing here is only for stopping hammer bounce, which I think is stupid. I mean, why would you have a thing up there to stop your hammer bounce? And how do you know what the hammer bounce is? How do you set it to not bounce? When does it stop bouncing? When does it start bouncing? So I think he was wrong in that, but maybe I misheard it. But anybody that know, please write me on that one, because right now I'm using it to tune the gun, and if that's going to damage it, I really need to know. Okay, so that's another issue that off to the side. Okay, but anyway, back to the issue. The issue is this. I got this thing, I got the hammer dialed down to minimum. I pull this, I've got the travel turned down probably halfway. And now this gun here is shooting at 870. It's shooting about the same speed as the 25, shooting at 870, okay? Now I haven't done my ranges yet. I sighted it in at 30, but I haven't done my ranges yet. So tomorrow we're going pesting. And when we go pesting, we're gonna stop by the range. And I'm going to shoot this thing. I'm probably never going to shoot a 177 past 60 yards. So I'm gonna do a range card, same idea for here, and I'm gonna write it down at 870 feet or whatever feet per second, and then we'll do my ranges over that. Now let me tell you the benefits of that. Then I'm going to talk about the tools that you need in order to do that. Okay. But the benefit of knowing how fast this pellet is going is paramount. Okay, and that's really what this video is about. If you don't have this, if you're a serious shooter and you don't have these things in your arsenal, you're making a mistake. And I'm going to tell you 2 ways that you can do it. It's called a chronograph. I'm quite sure you've seen them, and most of you guys have them. What this thing does is it'll do a shot string for you, and it will tell you what each one of those pellets is traveling at. It'll give you the feet per second at, the average feet per second for that, and it will also give you the extreme spread. I believe. I never used it to that effect, but I think it does that. If you don't have this, you have no idea. If you have multiple barrels for your gun and you don't have this, you're not even in the game. Because let's just say that you shot it and you got it set in, then you put another barrel on it, and you move some things around, you got it set in, now you're going back to the original barrel. What do you set it at? What is your speed? That's going to get you back on all those Mildots and half Mildots that you set up. Okay, only this. So right now I notice this gun is shooting at 870. Okay, I know the gun over there is shooting at 868 to 175 or whatever. Okay, so all I need to do when I get ready to take this barrel off, and I'm gonna talk about another one in a moment, but when I get ready to take this barrel off and put this barrel back on, all I gotta do is turn up the power wheel to whatever I need, turn the travel out to get more travel, to get more puff, and when I get this thing shooting at 860, all of these things are back in now. Everything that's on that card is back in now. Okay, so now I make me a little cheek piece. I'm shooting my 25. I decide, hey, get a call. Hey, we're going pesting tomorrow inside a barn, so we got to turn our guns down. We don't want to hurt anything, damage any of the property or anything. I said, okay, I'll pop this thing out, pop in my 177, take my chronograph outside, start dialing it down, and when I get it down to 870, I know. Now my card is good again. Put that cheek piece on there, I'm back on. Okay, so if you don't know the speed in which your pellet is traveling, you have no idea how to make the adjustment between barrels. Now if you have one barrel, you don't need this thing. You just set it up to shoot. But if you're going multiple barrels, or if your gun starts to shoot funny and you have no idea what it's doing, this is going to be the thing that's going to be able to tell you. I told everybody that my FX, a Wildcat, is shooting at 700 feet per second. And it used to shoot at 9, right around 9. That's 200 feet per second drop. The only reason I knew that was this. All of a sudden the gun sounded a little funny, so I put it through here and I said, oh God, it's shooting at 700 feet per second. It's dropped 200. I got a problem. So you got to have that. But there's two kinds, okay? This is the one that, this is probably the top of the line right here. This is a Pro Chrono Digital. And this is the one that I saw everybody using, and so this is the one that I bought. But there's also another one that you can use if you don't want to go with that big thing. I think this is a paintball Chrono, but they work. Only thing with this is what you do is you turn it on, bring the gun back, you put this on the barrel, you pull the trigger, and it tells you what it is. You can do a whole shot string with it also. Okay, and that's a lot cheaper, and you can find those on eBay and all kinds of places. So, and paintball places and that sort of thing. But it does work on pellets, and it works on a 177, as tiny as that pellet is. So you got two choices in terms of chronos to find out what your gun is doing. But and the third thing you're gonna need, and I won't bring it out, it's over there, and I don't want to walk away. We'll just pretend this is it. If you don't have a rangefinder, get a rangefinder. You don't have to get the top of the line. You can get one. I've seen them under $200. I've seen them for $129. That's all you're gonna need for hunting. Get you a rangefinder because you need to know what your ranges are when you set your gun up. You're gonna know what your ranges are when you're shooting at your prey. So the rangefinder is really, really important. So that's all I want to talk to you about today. If you have a gun that you're either going to be turning up or down in terms of what kind of things you're going to be doing with it, short range shooting, inside a building, and I'm dialing it way down, you need to know what you dial it down to, and then set the scopes up for your Mildot. So you have that. If you go out the long range, you got to know how far it's shooting, and the only way you're going to know that is to have this. And also to get you a range card telling you that. And if you can attach that range, and that's one thing I do like about FX guns. They all have this little cheek piece that's flat. And it's easy to put this piece of paper on it with all of your markings on it. And it's easy to just take a quick look to know, hey, this is 100 yards, that's 3 3/4 Mildot holdover. And that's it. So I was just changing the barrels, and I thought about this problem, and I said there are other people out there that probably have the same problem too. So I just decided to put together something to tell you that you really need to be able to set your gun at a certain speed, and then put a new barrel in and set it. If you got all 3 barrels for it, or all 4 barrels for it, you can do it for all 4. And then all you need to do is make these adjustments, get it to the speed you want, and your Mildots are right on. Change barrels, get it up to the right speed, your Mildots are right on. not a whole bunch of settings. So you learn one time and you apply the rest of the time. So just wanted to throw that video out there real quick, and hoping the weather stays good so we can go pesting tomorrow. Again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for your comments. Looking forward to more of those. And let me know what you think. And take a look at that Steve video where he's doing, where FX is paying him to do a bunch of videos on how to set up the FX Impact. And tell me if I misheard him when he said that this thing up here is not for travel, it's for anti-bounce. Because I need to know which one it is. I don't want to break my gun. I just got it back from Ernest Rowe at FX USA. And let me just throw a shout out right now to FX USA and especially to Ernest Rowe. Those guys are great. They're good to work with. I talked to him on the phone twice. We text each other a few times. Him asking me information about, you know, what I wanted the gun set up for to shoot at once it was prepared. There were some leaks in it that he got panned out. He got the regulator to stop leaking, and the gun is set up. And I told him I wanted to shoot at 875. And when I got it, guess what it was shooting at? With 25.19 pellets. And when I got it, guess what? When I put it on the Chrono, guess what it was shooting at? It was shooting at 875. Those guys are amazing up there. And another thing he did too, and you guys may want to look into this. When I set this gun off, this gun was, the regulator was set at 130. When I got it back from Ernest, it was set at 110, maybe 105, because it's just off the 100. And this thing here is shooting great. And the nice thing about that is, by him turning it down to, and getting able to get this thing to shoot at 880 at 100 bar, is that now when I throw my 177 barrel on here, it's not too much air coming through. Now I don't have to press it as hard to get that air down because it's already been turned down by 20 or 25 bar. So that is really, really wonderful. So a shout out to them, and I'm gonna say this again. This is the last time I'll ever say it. If you got an FX product and you're having any kind of problem with it at all, do not go to Airguns Arizona. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't go to Airguns Arizona. Go to FX USA, and if you're fortunate enough to talk to or meet or have Ernest Rowe work on your gun, count yourself as one of the most fortunate people in the world. Again, I want to thank you guys, and keep it safe, and let's keep having fun.